everyone, good morning, Mike here. Cool video for you guys today. I just got a few things on my mind I wanted to kind of rattle off and tell you guys about before I get going today. And if you notice, I'm wearing something a little different, okay? We got a mushroom Mesa hoodie on, and I've got a few other ones here too. I've got blue. The blue's pretty cool. I like that one if you're into blue. And then I have many colors now. I don't have all hoodies here, but here's a green t-shirt. The green is really awesome. But I also made like a purple one or whatever. But I went through Printify, okay? And if anybody wants some shirts, I'm going to put the link in the description box below, and you guys can purchase shirts if you guys want to support me and stuff like that. And just a few things too. I just wanted to say it's through Printify, which is basically you can just order from there, and it direct ships from them. So I'll never even touch the apparel. It'll just come straight to you guys. And I like that for a myriad of reasons. Just because, like, first of all, I don't have to ship it then. Okay, so it's less work for me, and then it cuts down on costs for you guys, for one thing. And then another thing too. Me being on the farm, like always doing, I just got these from the mailbox and brought them in. I already got them dusty, so all my stuff, I mean, like my clothes always gets dirty no matter what. So I'm glad I don't have to keep my clothes or clothing clean for you guys. Like doing my lab work and culture, like at least I have this stuff consolidated to over here, so this stuff always stays clean. And it just gets put in the package and shipped out. But t-shirts and stuff like that, we'll leave that to the other guys and let them do all that work. But yeah, if you guys want to support me and buy some apparel, I'd appreciate it. Anything you guys ever support me to over these next few years, all of the revenue I'm just putting right back into the farm, just to create better content and provide cool farming information for you guys. Because this is my life. I enjoy this kind of stuff more than anything else. I don't really do anything else, but this is the kind of stuff I love. So wanted to kind of tell you guys about the apparel, and I want to talk about shiitake mushrooms, believe it or not, today. I was just driving around, and it popped in my head, and I was like, you know what? This is a video topic I really should talk about. A lot of people are interested in farming shiitakes, okay, just in general, and being a mushroom farmer with experience, years in the industry, I can kind of tell you guys like what I think about that. Now, I'll say, like, when a lot of people get into farming gourmet mushrooms, or they're interested in gourmet mushrooms, you may have heard of shiitakes or seen them in stores. It's pretty common, you know. It's one of the more common gourmet mushrooms. And I'll just tell you a little back history on shiitake, and at least what I know about it for the most part. I know a significant amount about cultivating it and all that, but the history, I just want to give you a little backstory. So, from my knowledge, shiitake was introduced here. I think it was tried to really be put on for sale in the U.S. in like the 70s or something, the 60s or 70s to my knowledge. So it's been a while, and it didn't really catch on, okay, back then, okay? People slowly started growing more of it, and it slowly started becoming more popular over the years. And recently, okay, mushrooms have gained tons of popularity, right? People are just like realizing the benefits and all the different cool things about mushrooms, and we just didn't know all that stuff way back then. It was harder to get the information out. Now we have stuff like YouTube, you know, and guys like me talking about this kind of stuff, so it's cool. But I just want to say, shiitake was one of the first gourmet mushrooms that we tried to implement over here in the United States. It was really more common in Asia, you know, prior, and people started cultivating it a little more over here then. So it became more popular. Different means of cultivation were implemented over here. Outdoor logs were really common, especially like where I was from and where I started my first farm. There was a farm called Ozark Mushrooms, I believe is the name, and they would do outdoor shiitake logs. I think that's how they started, actually, was outdoor shiitake logs. There was a lot of different farmers around there that did shiitake that just started with outdoor logs. And I'll just say, I personally think if you're doing shiitake, that's kind of a cool way to do it, because I don't want to say passive, because you still got to do a lot of work to do that, so it's not really passive, but it's seasonal, you know what I mean? You got your logs outside, and you just kind of wait for them to fruit with the seasons, so that's kind of cool. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit, okay, in commercial cultivation nowadays, and I'm going to talk about like true commercial cultivation, like people that are doing indoor growing, similar to like how I do with shiitake, okay, because a lot of people wonder, can you do shiitake like that, or they're curious about potentially doing it, and yes, you can, okay, and I just want to say it's kind of a different ball game, believe it or not, than what I do here, all right, and there's a lot of just nuance to shiitake compared to like oyster mushrooms and lion's mane and stuff like that. A lot of people would think it would be super similar, but there's quite a few significant differences that I just want to kind of educate everyone on. I will say too, like when I first was doing farmers markets years ago, and I still have it nowadays. You know, if I would go to the farmers market, people would ask me, "Do you have shiitake mushrooms?" You know, so if you're starting out farming and you're not growing shiitake, you'll have all these things that will like tempt you into potentially doing shiitake. All right, and honestly, if you're a small scale farmer and you're trying to do this for profit, okay, I don't think shiitake is the best answer for you, and I'll tell you why I think that. Now, I'll say if you just want to grow a few for yourself, you know, go ahead. You know, do whatever you want. You know, or if you want a couple shiitake logs out in your backyard for your family or whatever, you know, do your thing. Or even if you just want to sell them seasonally and have fun, go for it. You know. But as far as profitability goes, man, it's kind of a tough one for a small scale guy. And let me just kind of break it down a little bit. And I'll say, me personally. So I grow a lot of like hericiums and oysters, lion's mane, those type of things. I will explain exactly why I do those and then why I really don't do as many shiitake, okay? So kind of like my personal number one reason is the incubation time, okay? So the amount of time that it's gonna take basically from when you inoculate your bag, first of all, to when you have a sizable mushroom fruit that you can sell, like a shiitake mushroom, like you have a shiitake mushroom that you can sell. So that time frame from when you inoculate the bag to when you have a shiitake that you can sell is significantly longer, believe it or not, than oyster and lion's mane. Like, it can be 3 to 4 times longer, maybe even more, you know, in some cases. But I'd say 3 to 4 times longer on average to get a shiitake mushroom compared to like an oyster or a lion's mane. So that means you could get 3 to 4 crop rotations, okay, of oyster and lion's mane before you would even get one rotation of shiitake. Okay, so just like small scale profitability sake, you're just going to get a quicker turnaround with things like oysters and lion's mane before you will shiitake, all right? Now you might be like, well, Mike, what kind of time are we talking here? Is this serious? It's kind of serious. So an oyster or a lion's mane block, they can be ready in 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes, like lion's mane, if you're doing a small block, I'll just say like a 5-pound block, will be ready in less than 2 weeks. Sometimes like 10 days, you can put it into the grow room if you really wanted. A larger block, like a 10 to 12 pound substrate block, I tend to tell people to wait a little bit longer than 10 days, maybe like in between the 2 to 3 week time frame. No longer than 3 weeks though, and it's going in the grow room. All right, so oysters and lion's mane are just way faster than shiitake could ever be as far as commercial scale cultivation goes. Just as far as the time frame, you know, from inoculation to the fruit produced. Now, where is all that time spent? Mainly incubation. Okay, so it's mainly spent in incubation. The fruiting period isn't really that much different. Okay, they're only going to spend a couple days, you know, in the grow room, and you're going to have some mushrooms to sell. But it's that incubation time. So you need to allow yourself ample incubation space, like 3 to 4 times more if you want to do shiitake than you have to do for oysters or lion's mane. And honestly, like, that's just a bigger investment for a lot of guys. If you got to build a bigger facility or just create more real estate to house your mushrooms and hold your mushrooms, it's just more of an investment. And for a lot of guys starting out, it's kind of tough to do. It's really hard, like for me, you know, even doing this well, it's very hard for me to do. And I'll just say too, my experience over the years, what I've seen other cultivators doing and seeing like their successes and failures and things like that. So me being from St. Louis, I actually was fortunate enough TR Davis, okay, Earth Angel Mushroom. Some of you may have seen TR on YouTube. TR was one of the first mushroom YouTubers. There's been plenty of guys before him, okay, but TR was a commercial guy that decided to put out some information about his farm. He was actually from St. Louis, okay, and TR was a commercial shiitake cultivator, okay, at the time, and he's no longer, to my knowledge at least, okay, I don't think he's doing commercial shiitake anymore. I'm pretty sure he completely pivoted to maitake, all right, and there's reasons for that, and I'll talk about that a little bit. So we talked about the incubation time. All right, and just when I first started getting into mushroom farming, okay, I was watching all sorts of YouTubers' videos. So TR was definitely one of the guys that I like watched and looked up to in the beginning, you know, because we all need to look up to someone, especially when we're kind of getting started. And TR, man, he had years of experience, and so all his information, I really, I took a lot of it seriously, of course, you know. So I was looking at his setup, trying to decide if I wanted to do shiitake or not, and believe it or not, he was the one who pretty much convinced me through his YouTube videos not to do shiitake. And I'll just say, like, when you have a long incubation period like that, And like I said, he has pivoted away from it now. I don't think he does them anymore because he's also learned as well. But when you have a long incubation period like that, that is more time for things to fail. Okay, so it is 3 to 4 times more likely, or things that could possibly occur that could cause a major crop failure in that time period. So if you're using, or if you're growing something just like I said, oysters or lion's mane, and you know your incubation period, you'll have blocks ready in like 2 weeks or so, and then you can get them in the grow room and then turn a profit. It's kind of a big deal, because just imagine, okay, let's say you had, and this happened to TR actually, okay, or he actually made a video about this a long time ago, but he had his whole incubation area full, okay, and he took a vacation. Us as farmers, sometimes it's hard to take a vacation. So like when you actually get to take a vacation, like I don't know, I enjoy it like crazy, because like there's always a lot of stuff going on. So when you can like take a step back and just like chill and not think about it for a while, and it's like I'm always still thinking about it, you know. So anyway, TR went on vacation, all right, and he had a couple employees back at his place, and the AC went out, and basically all the blocks got destroyed, because like when you have an air conditioning failure, believe it or not, like, and shiitake is just as bad. So like if my incubation room gets over 75 degrees, okay, like if we're at like 77, I'm freaked out, dude. I'm thinking like all my stuff could die. I like 75. When I see 75, to me in my brain, that is danger zone, and the AC must be on. Okay, and a lot of people would think like, oh, 75 isn't really that bad. Well, it might be not that bad for you or bad for me, but when it compares to the mushrooms in their bags, it's a big deal, because especially even the core temp, the internal core temp, can be up to 10 degrees warmer than on the outside of that core. Okay, so it's basically cooking those blocks, all right, when something like that happens. But anyway, TR had a complete crop failure. Okay, lost thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars, just out the door, just like that. And it's terrible when that kind of stuff happens. But there's nothing you can do, almost like. And I don't know, it keeps you humble at times, because you'll be extremely successful. Sometimes you'll have great crop yields and you'll be doing well with sales, but then all of a sudden something will hit you like that, and it just like knocks you completely back down. So I don't know, it's part of farming though, but that is one of the downsides, I'd say, of doing shiitake. Okay, and that is pretty much the number one reason right there why I would say most small guys should stay away from it. Okay, just the amount of incubation space it's eating up, because also like if you have a failure like that, of course that's bad, but it's also eating into your potential other profits, like I said, because if you could be turning a profit on something like oysters or lion's mane and just moving those mushrooms, getting them into a customer's hands or a chef's hands more frequently and faster than what you could shiitake, it's just going to be better for you and easier for you overall. That's the same reason why something like microgreens are like enticing to small-scale profitable farmers, because they can have a really fast crop rotation. Or even like things like if you're a veg farmer, believe it or not, lettuce can be very profitable, because you can just keep rotating those beds and get multiple crop cycles out of like a single bed throughout the year. Like, you know, it's not like corn or something, you know what I mean? Or a big corn farmer might, you know, plant one field and you get one harvest a year. We're always getting, with all these like small scale crops, we're getting multiple harvests out of that same bed, or like my grow room, you know what I mean? I'm getting a harvest every single week, or well, actually I have 2 grow rooms here, so I have it staggered where I am getting a harvest. One grow room I get a harvest out of 1 week, and then the next week I'll get a harvest out of that other one. But those are a few reasons, like just why I wanted to say why I personally don't recommend growing shiitake for like a small scale farmer, right? Like I said, if you guys want to do it yourself and just have a little bit to eat, or if you're making tinctures or, you know, whatever, go for it, dude. But I'll just say, like, for as far as farming, that's one of those ones I'd say think about it a little bit before you like go full bore into shiitake, because you might there might be a better avenue for you to take. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, just want to kind of talk about shiitake this morning a little bit. Wanted to kind of like show off my apparel, and so you guys could buy some merch if you guys wanted to buy some merch. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the link in the description box below for the hoodies and t-shirts, if you guys would like any of those. If you have any questions on anything I talked about today, or you just want to like drop some comments below about shiitakes or mushroom farming in general, go for it, dude. Put them in the comment section below. Let me know if you have any questions. But please drop this video a like. Hopefully you found it helpful and informative and all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But that's all I got for you on this one, and I will catch you on the next one.